Hello everyone. Today I thought I would talk about how different techniques that a game developer can use to make sure the audio in their game sounds as professional and as smooth and nice as possible. So, what I mean by that is, let's say you are playing a game, and thankfully I have some music here that I've written for the game Tomb Toad. It's a mobile puzzler game that came out about a day or two ago, and I think you guys should check it out. I wrote all the music. It was me and David Dons, a great developer. He's been so diligent on after the release of the game and helping people and taking feedback and improving the game as much as he can. So I encourage you guys to go check that out. So let's say we're in the game and we put in music. First of all, when you put in music into your game, you want to make sure that there are no options that are making the music mono. So if we listen to this track now, I'm going to put it in mono. Now I'm going to put it in stereo. If you are listening to this on your phone, you will have heard no difference. And that is because phones only have one speaker, meaning they are mono. So a good way to check to see if your music and your sound effects sound good is by playing your game on your phone or by listening to audio from your game on your phone. This is because it puts into perspective really well how loud your sound effects are to your music. So if I get some sound effects here, it don't even have to be sound effects. It could be drums maybe. Let's pretend that's a sound effect. Let's pretend that's a sound effect. I want a really bassy thing, so I'm going to get kick. So you got your three sound effects here. And I'm going to lay them out on the timeline as if it was just audio from the game. And the sound effects are just naturally playing, so. Alright. So I'm going to put this back in stereo. And let's pretend I'm a game developer and I just got my music. I got a couple sound effects and I threw them in the game and then I press play so I can hear them. So if I do that, you're going to notice this sound effect to me is particularly too loud. This sort of gets lost in the low end of the song, and I can barely hear this one because it's such a small sample. I can barely hear it anyway. So what you could do, if you're a game developer, you could take all the audio files and put them in you could program all your music to be changeable by a slider. So that way you could have your sound effects audio slider and your music audio slider. And that's what I'll do right now. I'll route this song to this channel so I can adjust the volume. And then I will take these three sounds and then I will give those to this one. So we have those three sounds on this, which will be as our sound effects channel, and this one will be our music channel. Now, a good way, if you are working with a composer, is to give them access to these two channels while they're playing a build of your game. They will then listen, and they can determine how loud the music should be to the sound effects. What they might do is listen to a game that you really like, maybe Smash Brothers, and I would listen to the sound effect volume and I would listen to the music volume and see what kind of ratio they have for their game. So if you just want to get somewhere and you don't really know where you should start, a good start is maybe 33% less than your sound effects volume. Now, to me, these are still pretty loud. So in this case, you might want to turn this particular sound down a lot because it is a higher sound and humans are more prone to hearing higher sounds. It's more sensitive, or our ears are more sensitive to higher sounds. So we're going to turn this one down. Another thing you could do, if you're a composer and you're watching this, and you could have a graph like this. It shows you information on what is being played. You can then adjust the volume of each of your sound effects according to where the music is. For example, the music is peaking about right here in the highs, and when that sound effect comes along, it's much louder. So obviously there's going to be some unpleasantness there if you have the volume up. So I'm going to turn down that sound effect until I reach a little bit above the music. For the second sound, it's more of a bassy sound, so we're going to look over here. And then for the final one, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going about twice the song. So if the maximum highs for the song are here, I'm putting the sound effect volume around here. Just like that. And the bass right here for the song is about here. So if I was putting a sound effect, I might put it up around here, twice the amount. So now if we listen to everything, after we've made the changes, sounds a lot better, more balanced to me. You can check this again by either listening on your phone, which will be mono, but we can simulate that right now by turning the master channel mono, where everything is, all sounds are linked to the master channel. So anything that makes sound in the software is going to go through the master channel as a filter. So we're going to make everything mono. So that seems about right to me in mono. Another thing you can do to simulate what it'll sound on a phone is just EQ out the bass. Because phones don't have bass. And if it still sounds decent, bring the bass back in, turn it stereo, and you should be good at that point. Yeah, indie devs, make sure that whenever you are uploading audio to your software, your game that you're making, sometimes it will default to mono audio. And while there's nothing wrong with mono audio, like chiptune, old school chiptune games are mono, and some modern games being made right now that are chiptune are in mono because it's a stylistic choice. But if you're making a game, let's say like a fighting game, and it has very modern looking graphics, and you forgot to check the box that says mono, you're going to have a very modern looking game experience as well while you're playing it. But then all your sound is going to be coming through mono, which means if someone has a surround sound system, it's only going to be using one out of those 6 speakers in that person's system. which is a shame because you want your game to sound amazing. So, just be careful whenever you're uploading audio. Pay close attention to if there's a stereo option. It'll make your game seem or look a lot more polished, I think, especially to composers, which I know your demographic isn't composers, but it certainly goes a long way to make your game look impressive as possible. I hope this was helpful. I kind of went on both sides of explaining to a developer what it's like on the composer side, and also I tried to give some tips for a composer if they were watching on how you can mix the audio, or give you some ideas on how you would mix the audio for a game that you're working on with a dev or a client or anyone. So yeah, I hope this video was enjoyable and informative enough for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice weekend.